So, recently, there was a leak during the Axie Dev Chat 2 for the new cards and abilities of Battles V2. A lot of people saw this and thought that finally, Tiny Turtle or Chomp is getting reworked. No more Termies. Termies were way too strong on the meta. But if you check the picture more clearly, how come it only says 60 in red text? Where is the attack and block? Don't cards always have an attack and block written on them? Chances are that in the next season, the cards listed on this leak won't change to the exact cards that are shown here yet. The problematic cards during this season will probably get some balance changes, and the changes that are listed here in the Battles V2 art will only happen once Battles V2, also known as Axie Infinity Origin, actually comes out. Since we've seen the new art and some of the new cards, let's focus and analyze this leak. First is the attack and block. You can see here that each card no longer has both of these attributes. Based on this picture, it looks like the red background means attack and the blue background means block, meaning that each card will only have either attack or block on them. Next, let's look at the card types. From the pictures here, we have attack, skill, power, and secret card types. I think Axie Infinity borrowed some concepts from Slay the Spire. Slay the Spire is a build-your-own-deck roguelike game that you can play on Steam. But to get to my point, Slay the Spire is also a card game and it has 5 card types, namely attack, skill, power, status, and curses. So, does it seem familiar? If they actually are similar, then attacks are basically damage kind of abilities. Looking at Tiny Turtle and Buzz Buzz, both these cards have additional effects, and both deal damage. Buzz Buzz actually has an effect not present in the current battle system. It says you can shuffle 1 Dazed into the opponent's discard pile. Daze is a new debuff that is not present in the current game, and putting cards into the opponent's deck is also a new mechanic. But moving on, let's take a look at the skill type cards. Skills are abilities that can be offensive or defensive. They can give buffs or debuffs, but they deal no damage. Bubblemaker, for example, has 50 block and a self buff. Cuckoo, on the other hand, does not give any block, but grants a buff to another ally. Power cards are a permanent upgrade for the whole battle or fight. So let's take a look at Sakura. After you play this card, at any time you play a card after this, your Axie will gain 8 HP. So I believe that this is a permanent buff until the battle finishes. Now, for the secret card type. There's no secret card type in Slay the Spire. But Mary here says that this card can be used on any ally and it has 65 block. So I'm not sure if this means you give 65 block to an ally or an ally gets a secret effect. Maybe secret cards are cards where you don't know the effect of yet. Maybe they can grant random effects. It remains to be seen. Anyway, we talked about Dazed earlier, right? I'll show you a card from Slay the Spire. See the similarities? Dazed in Slay the Spire is a status card that when you draw it, you cannot play it, which means it is just stuck in your hand and wastes a card draw. I have a feeling that the Dazed debuff in Battles V2 might also be similar, and when you draw it, it will have a negative effect. So this makes me think that Battles V2 may also have status cards. Status cards in Slay the Spire are cards that are put into your deck by other card effects and usually have a negative effect. These only last until the end of battle. So after the battle, your entire deck won't have this new card anymore. Alright, the last thing we found from this leak. Let's take a look at Bubblemaker and Sakura. Bubblemaker and Sakura are both ear parts. And before, in the current battle system, eyes and ears body parts do not have any abilities. But in Battles V2, it seems like they do. which means it will be even more harder to breed the perfect Axie. If Battles V2 comes and the rework does happen for all of the cards, then your current meta Axies may no longer be as good or as useful as before. In fact, if you have a bad mix of skills, it could become useless. So, now that all of you know this, are you still excited for Battles V2? Or are you now scared that your Axies may become useless? Let me know in the comments section down below. Thank you everybody for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!